This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now here's a question for you. What do you suppose, or what do you think, is the most famous blues guitar solo ever played? And let's define some terms here. By a blues guitar solo, I mean it's been played over a 12-bar blues chord sequence, and it's using all of the typical things that we find in a blues guitar solo in terms of a minor pentatonic as the basis for the solo and so on. So that's what I mean by a blues guitar solo. And in terms of how famous it is, well, it'll be a solo that has been heard by every fan of that particular genre, blues, and will be familiar to them, but it's also got reach beyond that cohort of listeners. It's a solo that pretty much everybody, whether they're into the blues genre of music or not, will have heard at some point. What do you think that solo is? You're probably thinking, oh, well, it's got to be something by possibly Eric Clapton or maybe John Mayer. He had a lot of like kind of breakthrough hits, didn't he, that sort of reached beyond a blues audience. But I would say it's probably this one. And if you didn't spot it, that was, of course, the solo from Can't Buy Me Love by the Beatles. It's a 12-bar blues, and George is using all of the usual blues ingredients as he puts that solo together. Here's a bit of an explanation.
Solo explanation.
Okay, so beginning by taking a look at the chords we're playing over, these are they. As you can see, it's basically a 12-bar blues in the key of C. The chords C7, F7 and G7 distributed in exactly the kind of places that you would expect to see them in any up-tempo 12-bar blues shuffle, which is really what this song is, certainly for parts of it anyway. As you can see, it goes to an E minor for the as we come out with the solo. So that's sort of where it departs from the typical 12-bar blues kind of thing. But what we're playing over here is very definitely that 12-bar blues sequence. So we're going to be using a 12-bar blues in C. We're going to be using C minor pentatonic. And yeah, I started by assuming that the first few licks in the solo, which are... we'll play it up here, but then there's something else that comes later which we'll deal with when we get to it, that just presents itself much more easily under the fingers down this end of the neck. So I had a bit of a rethink and I thought, well, okay, instead of using position 1 of C minor pentatonic, we can use position 4 down here, like that, and the licks start looking like this. So just kind of, you know, making a lot of play of that sort of F to G bend. And then we get a couple of sort of additional notes coming in, like that. So that's what he plays. I can. It took me a while to convince myself that that's what I was hearing, but I slowed it down and it is. Now this extra note that we're adding in here, this D, well that's fair enough because that's in the G7 chord, but this A flat here that he adds in, I have no idea why he did it, but it just works in context, like that. Anyway, We then go up to the F7th chord, and this is where that thing that I was talking about earlier, which just presents itself under the fingers a little bit more readily down this end of the neck. That's when we hit this little A diminished chord. Basically, imagine a D chord shape, move it up a string and move it back 1 fret, and that gives you a little A diminished triad. So why is he playing that then? Because, well, that's what he does with it, but that little A diminished triad is a chord sort of hiding within the F7th chord. Now maybe he played it like that, or maybe he played the full F7th chord, I don't know, but both of those are down at this end of the neck, which I think tends to support the idea that, you know, the rest of the solo is played down here as well. So after we go back to our familiar bend. Now that's how I've notated it in the tab. He's playing almost like a unison bend, and then to this note here, same note that we're bending to here, this G note. But I'm not sure, you know, on the recording, it sounds like that note could have been overdubbed in, because there's just a sort of a curious way that it overlaps. You know, it more so than just doing a kind of maybe up here. You know, it just sounds like there might have been something a little bit tricksy going on there, but that's certainly how you can play it. Then we have another one of these, and then we're about to hit the G7 chord. So what does he do? He just plays a couple of G notes, like that, sliding in from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on the 4th string. So that's it. Then just basically the rest of the solo uses this little pentatonic. So 1st, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, slide up to 5th, and then 3rd on this string here. So and there's your solo. That's it. Let's go through it nice and slowly so we get beautifully simple but massively effective little solo. And you know, if ever you wanted justification that that minor pentatonic over a major chord sequence will kind of give you that sort of bluesy, wonderful tension, well, there it is right there. And would it be fair to say that because this is a blues solo from a Beatles song, it's possibly the most famous blues solo ever played? You could argue that one, I suppose. But anyway, that's what's going on in the solo. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. So I think it would be difficult to find a more famous band than the Beatles, and that is one of their most famous songs, and it's got a blues guitar solo in it. So that's my reasoning for why I think Can't Buy Me Love is the epitome of the famous blues guitar solo, perhaps the most famous one ever played. Let me know what you think down in the comments. As usual, there is a full tab for the solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, and there's my phone pinging, along with the clip of me playing it, that explanation you've just seen there, and a jam track to play along with. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description, as I'm sure you know by now. $3 a month, or £3 or thereabouts, gets you access to all of these additional resources and goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And a massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, including the higher tier Patreon membership, $6 a month, and you get like a twice monthly hangout with me and the other tier 2 supporters, and some more video content that I'm putting up there all the time, really. So thank you to everyone who supports me. It is massively appreciated, and you'll find all the links down below. But that is the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday at 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitars and many other things. It's a fantastic way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.